Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Scrapbook Pal YouTube channel. My name is Safia at Stampin' with Safia, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a pop-up card. I'm using Bibi Cameron's pop-up snowflake die set, and I'm also going to be using the Spellbinders Snowflakes 3D embossing folder. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. These are the dies I'm going to be using. The big snowflake die, this piece right here is, it goes inside the card base, both of those pieces. This is the greeting, and then this half snowflake, we're going to need 2 of those. And then that little piece goes with the greeting. So this is the paper I chose to cut out my snowflakes. I've used a foil silver paper and then 2 of the teal half snowflakes. For my little table, I'm using a thick basic white cardstock, and then for my greeting, I'm using silver to make them kind of match. So the first thing you're gonna do is take your big snowflake and fold it halfway through the middle. Make sure you fold that really well because that is the part that's going to go inside the card, like get glued to the card. And then you're going to take your 2 half pieces and put them together. So there's little tabs there, and you just have to take them and poke them through the little tabs. It's really easy, just like a puzzle. Honestly, I was a little intimidated at first, but it's not that hard. So now you're going to take those tabs and glue them in the opposite direction that they're in. So I just put a little bit of glue into the base, like into the corner of the where the card meets the little tabs, and then I'm just holding them in place. An easy way to make sure they stay is to just put tweezers on there and then let it dry. So the next thing I'm doing is taking that little greeting piece and folding it and making it into like an A shape. And then I'm going to take a dot of glue and attach one side of that to the greeting. Just line it up. Now, if you're using foil paper like me, it is a little bit hard for the glue to stay. So again, just use your tweezers and set it aside to dry for a few minutes. That's important to make sure you let everything dry properly so it sticks. Now I'm taking the tabs on the foiled blue snowflake and folding them into that A shape and then tucking them into the big snowflake. Once they're in, you're going to glue those forwards towards the leaves. And again, I'm going to be using my liquid glue for that. And once you have them folded into place, again, just take your tweezers, apply them onto those areas, and then set the snowflake aside to dry. I want to say wait at least 3 to 5 minutes for each of these pieces to dry. For the table piece, you're going to fold it in half, and then you're going to take the remaining pieces and fold them backwards. So you're going to end up with an M shape. And make sure it's all lined up properly. And then there's score lines there. You're going to fold those pieces inwards. And you're going to do that on both sides. So once you have everything folded, you're gonna see those tabs. They say A and B, and I'll tell you why later. But it should look like this, like just a little table. Then you're gonna take your card base and you're gonna take that piece, this piece right here, this die, and there's one with just a line on it. You wanna line that up with the center of your card base. And what I did is I just took a piece of tape and I taped it on before I die cut it so it wouldn't move, and I know that it's gonna end up exactly how I want it to. So when you do that, there's actually an A and B on the inside too that gets embossed into the cardstock, and you're just gonna line up your A and B pieces with that table piece and pop them into the card. The easiest way to do it is to put the first ones in first and then hold them on the other side and then put in the bottom two. Then you're gonna fold those pieces backwards and you're gonna glue them down with some liquid glue. So this is a really sticky project. I kept a baby wipe on the side so I could keep wiping my hands because I didn't want to get glue everywhere. But if you do, you could always use a glue eraser and erase it from anywhere on the card. So this is what it should look like in the end. And this snowflake is just going to go into the center. So we're going to take our greeting piece and stick it into the tabs of the blue snowflake. And again, the tabs that are coming out in the back, you want to point them towards the leaves and then glue them down, which is what I'm doing right now. And again, I'm going to have to put the tweezers on there so that I can set it off to dry without it unsticking, because that foil paper is tough to glue. For the outside of my card, I'm going to use this green card base, and I am going to put it in the Snowflake embossing folder and just run that through my machine. And then once it's embossed, I took some craft ink and I'm just blending it onto the snowflakes. Not really the green part, but the snowflakes themselves, just to make the snowflakes pop off of the card. And I really like the way that that looked. So now I'm just going over it just to make it a little bit darker, and you can do this as much as you want to make it as light or as dark as you want. But I really wanted that white to show, so I went over it several times, actually off camera as well. So once that's done, I'm just going to glue that down with liquid glue. It's important to use liquid glue and get every little piece there, because when a paper is embossed, you really want it to stick down properly. And so I'm taking that panel and gluing it right onto my card base, making sure that it's lined up really well, because I don't want any of those tabs to show on the front or the white part of the cardstock. For my greeting, I'm using Lawn Fawn's Let It Snow hot foil plate, and I'm just going to foil that in a light blue color. And that's what it ended up looking like. I thought it was so pretty. And then I just die cut it out with a circle die. So now I've cut out the snowflake again, the half snowflake in silver, and I'm gonna use that to tuck under my greeting. So I'm going to put some glue on them, and we don't want those tabs to show. So that's where I'm going to put the glue. And I'm not putting it right up towards the ends because I want the snowflake to kind of pop off of the card. And so that one's going to go on top, and I'm just lining it up where I want it. And as you can see, the snowflake on the ends is still popping up, and that's kind of what I wanted. And then we're going to go ahead and do the same thing to the other half of the snowflake. Make sure I'm getting it in the right spot. So I'm just kind of lining it up and then gluing it down onto that embossed piece. So the next thing I'm going to do is put the greeting on with some foam squares. And I think I used about 5 just because I didn't want it to collapse anywhere. And then I'm going to put that on right onto the center, covering up those tabs. Then I went ahead and I die cut some additional snowflakes in shinier foil paper. And these snowflakes are from Lawn Fawn's Winter Wonderland window. So I will show that there. Those are where those came from. And I just took the little ones from there and die cut them, and then I added them in 3s. So I'm just putting a dot of glue and then sticking down those tiny little snowflakes for some additional texture. And I didn't want to get too crazy on the front cover there, just because the inside is going to have that adorable pop-up snowflake. So I just added little snowflakes around the centerpiece there. So I had one more, I couldn't find it, and then I finally did, and I'm just going to put that one on as well. So once I got all of that on, now I'm going to put the snowflake on in the middle. I didn't do that before because it would have been too bulky to try to glue down the front panel. So I'm just applying glue to that table area on either side. I'm going to fold my snowflake perfectly in half and then align it with the center and then just set it down to dry. Let it dry really well before you move on. For the inside, I took some Salvaged Patina Distress Oxide ink and I just went around the snowflake just to give that inside some texture. I was gonna put some snowflakes or stamp something over top of this ink, but I decided not to because I wanted to leave room to write inside the card. And I felt like if I covered everything up, I wouldn't have much space, and I did want to have a lot of space to write you know, just my Christmas greetings into the card. So that's my finished card. I hope you like it. I think it looks really good. If you have, please subscribe to the Scrapbook Pal YouTube channel. There is an additional 2 videos linked here if you've enjoyed this, and you can dive right in and watch those. Thanks for being with me today and have a great day. Bye.